What's up, fam? So a few days ago in Philadelphia, a slavery exhibit was taken down. At least the pictures were taken down at the exhibit at the behest and the command, I guess, of President Donald Trump. Well, today they finally had a court hearing to determine if those exhibits could be put back up. Gonna watch this news clip. I'm gonna break it down the best I can, give my take. And as always, I want you to give your take down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's hit it.
Well, a judge will determine whether an exhibit about slavery at Independence National Historic Park will be restored. The National Park Service removed the displays last week following an executive order by President Trump last March. The city of Philadelphia filed a lawsuit seeking to have the exhibit restored, and CBS News Philadelphia's Liz Crawford spent the day in the courtroom hearing the arguments.
8 days after slavery exhibits were removed from the president's house in Old City, Philadelphia, dozens of
I bet some folks just happy to take it down.
Moved from the president's house in Old City, Philadelphia, dozens of people packed a courtroom to hear arguments from the city of Philadelphia and the federal government. One of the city's witnesses was Joyce Wilkerson, who worked for the city in the early 2000s when the President's House project was first introduced.
You can stand in the president's house where Africans were enslaved and look across the street and see the Declaration of Independence, the Liberty Bell. You know, this is the place where the story needs to be told.
That's true. You can't tell a complete story without telling the whole story. You know, they always say the victor goes the spoils, the ones who tell the stories, the one who always wins. Well, sometimes that shouldn't be the case. The story should be told on both sides so people can get a clear view, a clear picture of what actually happened in the early years of this country, early settlement of this country. Nothing should be taken out, nothing should be forgotten, especially slavery, especially when you have, 40 million, some odd million Black people in this country. There's no way in the world.
Outdoor exhibit opened in 2010 and was meant to examine the paradox of slavery and freedom. Presidents Washington and Adams lived at this site along with enslaved people. Much of the city's argument centered around the longtime collaboration between the city and the National Park Service, including the mutual partnership over the President's House exhibit. Another former city employee who worked under Mayor Nutter also took the stand.
There's a gut punch to something that was happened just by one person deciding that they were going to do something. That's not the way we work. That's not the way the Park Service has ever worked under my tenure.
A spokesperson with the Interior Department, which oversees the Park Service, said it is implementing President Trump's executive order on restoring truth and.
You see what I'm looking at on the screen. Restoring truth and sanity to American history. Why not restoring truth or sanity? Because you can't have both when you're trying to eliminate part of the history of this country. I think the issue really is that this exhibit is controlled by both the federal and the local government. It's another thing. This is another example of why when they say the same thing to make you laugh, make you cry. We know that the federal government was a part of legalized slavery, Jim Crow, back in the day. So now we say, hey, y'all owe us for what y'all did. So you need to help fund this project, these exhibits, these museums. And the federal government say, probably in good intentions. Sure, we'll help out. That's the least we can do. Because it ain't like we're going to try to not give you no reparations no time soon. That's the least we can do. And you're like, okay. But then you get a guy like Donald Trump who says, hey, we run federal government. We say what we're going to help pay for and not pay for. So as a president of the United States, I'm going to put out this executive order saying we need to get rid of all these exhibits that's showing America in a bad light. And what exhibits are going to show America in a bad light the worst? Slavery exhibits, because that's what the country was built on.
Sanity to American history. Oversees the Park Service, said it is implementing President Trump's executive order on restoring truth and sanity to American history. Friday in the courtroom, attorneys for the federal government argued that the National Park Service has complete ownership of the exhibit and has authority over what is displayed. The judge interrupted and challenged that argument throughout the hearing.
But I love the pushback from the judge. The judge was absolutely incredulous about the contractual argument and about the independent dictatorial authority of the president. Cool. It's looking great in that courtroom.
The judge indicated she could make a ruling on this on Monday, but she said she wanted to visit the site and see the displays and how they're being stored herself. In Old City, Liz Crawford, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Interesting. Hopefully the judge will allow them to put those exhibits up, because how's it harming anybody? Why are y'all so dead set on erasing the harm that you cause, which in turn caused our people as a whole to be in a predicament that we're in now when it comes to financial and education, prison complex, and more? That it all started with this. You always, to me, in order to fix a problem, to correct something, you always got to go back and figure out what caused it. Once you figure out what caused it, and then, okay, now we want to make sure we remember that, because we don't want to forget it, because we don't want to mess up and it happen again. I've told y'all in previous videos that we can sit here and say that slavery will never come back to America. If somebody trying to make me a slave, you know, it's going to be a fight, or we're going to be some gunplay. And I told y'all, it could possibly happen if everything lines up. If they, one, get rid of slavery exhibits. Two, if they rename slaves into what they call like indentured workers or free laborers or some crap they're trying to do. Three, if they get rid of all the pictures showing, like I say, people getting whipped, hung, lynched, assaulted, get rid of those movies and whitewash all those and keep those movies like Gone with the Wind, where, you know what I'm saying, the mammy is always smiling and grinning and singing like everything is all happy. They bring that stuff, if they keep that in there and take everything else out, yes, a few generations from now, it could come back. And you won't even know what's happening, because it won't happen overnight. Well, the hell, they could with laws, but they can change laws today and make things the way they want to overnight. Don't ever be fooled. Don't be fooled. I mean, presidents can become tyrants. Let the dollar bill continue to lose value to the point of where it's worthless, which it will happen, because we are in a fiat system. And every fiat system in the history of man has failed, has crumbled. Every last one of them. America will be no different. It may take a little longer than the other ones, but America will be no different. Let that white man money become worthless and see what kind of laws he passes. Because that's the number one way to get things changed, or the number one way to get that man on your butt, is to play with his money. But again, if we don't read, if we don't keep this stuff in, and I'm always the first one to say, go to these bookstores. Go to these bookstores, go online, get these books, put them in your library, read them, teach it to your kids, grandbabies, make them read them, make them understand what's going on. Videos, I got tons of DVDs now I'm putting in cases that I had, that I forgot I even had. You know what I'm saying? Black history, African history, you know what I'm saying, religious history, you name it. I got a bunch of them. Like I said, I forgot I even had them, but now I'm like putting them in cases and putting them up so they can be stored properly. But you got to have that stuff, because if not, history can and will repeat itself. I have many books on my shelf, talking about slavery, Civil War, civil rights, you know what I'm saying, the slave, what's it, the black tax, redlining, the tax system, how it hurts has hurt the black community, all this stuff. Slave, like I said, trips on slavery, trips with on ships coming over to the Americas, all this stuff. I got books, DVDs with stuff about that because you can't forget it. Can't forget the history, the racism, the good. You got good time, you got good things to talk about too, but everything just cannot be whitewashed, and that's what it seems like Donald Trump was trying to do. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you maybe a couple of minutes out of your day, but it means the world to us here at this channel. And with that being said, I leave you in peace and love, and I'll see you on the other side.